Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. This is fantastic. Bro, this is insane. I'm going to share with you guys some stuff that happened this morning. So, Denise is here, first of all. What's up, girl? Nice to see you here. I've been talking about the astrotheology and my work in breaking down the ancient holy texts for years now. It's been about 4 years. And this morning, one of the big accounts that I follow, Tony's here, bro, what's up? One of the big accounts that I follow, his name is Ariel, or that's what he calls himself on Twitter. He's one of the brightest minds I've ever come across. And I've been following him for quite a while. And it's been absolutely amazing watching him just knock down narratives and just share his information. To be honest with you, I don't know why. I don't know how he didn't lose his account before Elon bought Twitter. Anywho, so I posted my pitch that I send to guys. Remember, you know how like when you guys ask me what to send to people and then I send you that pitch? Well, he made a post today about Pluto and Aquarius for 20 years, which Priscilla, my astrologer, had been talking about for a long time, right? Bright Aura is here. Hello, hello. Anyway, so check this out, guys. I've been building my accounts up slowly. People that watch me, people like I'm not out here doing the one chip challenge and making dick jokes. I mean, I do make dick jokes, but I'm not doing the one chip challenge. This is not for everyone, this kind of information, and it takes a lot for people to get to that point. Anyway, Ariel saw my pitch and he responded to me and he drew some traffic to me. So I was just at the post office mailing somebody one of my books. And then he responded to me. The time it took me to get from the post office home, I have 500 new followers on Twitter. And we're talking maybe 11 minutes at most that I was driving. 500 new people on Twitter. 200 new people on YouTube. I've been live for 3 minutes. I got 51 people here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my ancient holy texts, and for all of you guys who are new from Twitter and all of you guys who haven't seen my video yet but who are about to, we're going to go ahead and do one real quick, and then I'm going to interview my friend Chrissy. So let me just see if I could show you. How about we do the book of Revelation? Revelation sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? Let's do the book of Revelation, and I'll show you exactly how this works. So let me just open it real quick. It's going to take a minute, guys, so just give me a hot sec. The book of Revelation. Ready, guys? Casey is here. I just saw you friending me, girl. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. I'll hit you up later today with an email, and I want to get your book, and it's awesome to start my day out with Micah. Michael. It's not Michael. It's Micah. It's Micah. But it's okay. It's Micah. It's Michael without an L. Denise is here. Vito's my brother. Oh, Casey, I like that you're already commenting. You're just diving right in. Casey, I would suggest you to watch the video that I just put on Ariel's thing. After this, things are going to start to make more sense to you. So, thumbs up, people. Good morning, sir. Standing for truth. All right, guys, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go over the book of Revelation. But first, I need to explain to you astrotheology. So for all of you guys who are watching, who are new, I'm not going to see the comments for a little bit because I'm actually going to be on the PowerPoint presentation. But let's go ahead and start. So, the book of Revelation. So remember, guys, I make the claim that these books are astrologically encoded in ways you don't understand. And the religious people come to me and they say, God says astrology is bad. The Bible says astrology is bad. And they don't even look at what I say. So I've been beating my head against the wall for 5 years, just about trying to share this with people and teach them new things. So what you guys need to understand is you need to understand the 12 signs of the zodiac and the keywords. So we're going to start with that, okay? So the first sign I talk about is Aquarius, which is represented by the man with the water pitcher. The story of Aquarius goes back to the story of Zeus. It says Zeus and Aquarius, but this is an old PowerPoint. Zeus and the young boy. The story of Zeus and the young boy is the story of Aquarius, and it goes something like this. Zeus was on Mount Olympus, which, by the way, guys, did you know Mount Olympus was a real place? I don't know if you know this. Mount Olympus is a real place. It's a real place. And none of the Greeks ever went to the top of it to see if any of the gods were there. Can you believe that? Not one. Anyway, so Zeus is on Mount Olympus, and he wants this young boy. He sees this 14-year-old blonde boy, and it's very specific about that, by the way. He sees a 14-year-old blonde boy on Earth, and he wants him on Mount Olympus with him. But he's a boy, so he has to bargain with the boy's father. Well, what happens? Well, the boy's father wants nothing to do with it. So Zeus and him are going back and forth. Eventually, Zeus gives him land, money, and animals, and he lets the boy go up. So the boy's up in Mount Olympus now with Zeus and the other gods. And just like in this picture of Aquarius, he's feeding them something called ambrosia, which is the nectar of the gods. That's what they drank. And he's feeding them out of this water pitcher. Now, he does this day in and day out, day in and day out. Remember, he's a 14-year-old boy. One day, he just gets pissed off. And he's just sick and tired of doing the same shit day in and day out. So what he does is he pours, just like in this picture, he pours the pitcher of ambrosia over the side. And that causes a flood on Earth. That's where the Greeks get their flood story from. Now, Zeus sees this and sees what he did. And he's going to punish him, because Zeus is a very deviant god and he gets angry a lot and things of that nature. But in a moment of self-reflection, he thinks to himself, oh, maybe I shouldn't have brought him up. Maybe he was a little too young. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. So instead of punishing him, what he does is he immortalizes him as the constellation Aquarius. And that's where we get the constellation Aquarius. So look at this picture on the right, guys, because this is Aquarius. So there's keywords. Son of man, man. Aquarius is the sign of the man, whereas Virgo is the sign of the woman. Okay? So, son of man, man, baptism, because look at this. This is how you baptize someone. Water pitcher, because this is a water pitcher. Fountain, springs water. And a lot of Greek fountains were built like this. Stream, river, pond, lake, ocean, sea, for example. These are all water bodies. Now, Aquarius is an air sign if you know astrology. But because there's water in the picture, and it goes back to the story of Zeus and the young boy, because there's water in Aquarius in the picture, even though it's an air sign, they use it to encode water. Now, when you get to the next sign, Pisces, Pisces is the sign of the two fish in the water. Pisces is actually a mutable sign. It's actually a water sign. So the first two that I just gave you are water. And when you're talking about Aquarius versus Pisces water, you can tell by the patterns that it makes in the heaven, and this will start to make sense. So the first sign is Aquarius. The second sign is Pisces. They're both water. For example, water would be like he took a drink from the water pitcher. And in Pisces, they'll be like he swam in the river with the fish or in the lake or something like that. So there's ways that they phrase it that you can understand it. And I promise you this will all tie together. Now, Aries is the ram. And in Aries, you have March 21st, which is the spring equinox. It's a 12-hour day and a 12-hour night. There's also 3 different types of Passovers that occur in Aries. The first is the astrological Passover, which is the oldest and the most important. That's the day, March 21st, where the sun is going to cross over the equator, and it's going to start to make its way back to its height in the summer solstice. Okay? The second Passover is the Jewish Passover. That's when the angel of death is going to pass over all the houses, and anyone that doesn't have the lamb's blood, remember the lamb is a baby ram, right? Ram is Aries. Anyone that doesn't have the lamb's blood identifying them as the people of Aries, who are the Jews, by the way, their firstborn sons get killed. The third Passover is the Christian one, and it's the resurrection of God's Son, S-U-N, not S-O-N. So whenever you hear ram, lamb, shepherd, or ram's horn, you're talking about Aries. Now, Jews are the people of Aries. How do we know this? Because they blow the ram's horn during the holidays. They're the people of Aries. Nothing's changed. Just the hidden meaning has been hidden. Now, Taurus is the bull, and it's as above, so below, which is not an evil phrase, guys. As above, so below. When you see the bull in the sky, you have to put the plow on the bull on earth. And when you do that, you're able to plant the seeds that you can harvest later in Virgo and Libra. So whenever you hear bull, ox, calf, or cow being the female bull, they're talking about Taurus. Gemini is the twins. It's the story of Castor and Pollux Troy, whose sister was Helen of Troy. It's another Greek story. It's the story of Achilles. So whenever you hear twins or brothers, that's Gemini. Now, Cancer is the crab. And the crab moves like this. It's a sideways moving creature because the sun does that too. So if you're looking at this flash drive and you're imagining it being the sun, on December 25th, it's going to rise a degree on its axis. On December 26th, another degree. 27th, another degree. And it's going to continue doing this every single day. The days are getting longer. The nights are getting shorter. When it hits June 21st, that's the summer solstice. That is the beginning of summer. That is the height that the sun will ever get. It's the longest day of the year, the shortest night of the year. Now, what it's going to do for 3 days after that is it's not going to rise another degree or drop another degree. What it's going to do is it's going to walk sideways for 3 days and stay at that exact same height. Then on June 25th, it's going to drop a degree. Then on June 27th, it's going to drop another degree. And then it's going to keep doing that until it hits December 21st, which is the first day of winter. And when they looked out at the sky, December 21st, they noticed that the sun wouldn't crack the horizon. So they would say God's son was dead. Now it's going to walk sideways for 3 days like the crab. Now suddenly God's son was dead for 3 days. Where on December 25th, or the birth of all of the gods, the sun comes back to life and it starts doing that pattern. So going up a degree every day, sideways for 3 days, down a degree every day, sideways for 3 days, up a degree. That's what the sun does every single year. Now, in the ancient Egyptian times, the crab was known as the scarab beetle. So whenever you hear crab or scarab, that's Cancer. Now, Leo is the king. He's the lion. He's the king of the jungle. The ruling planet of Leo is actually the sun. So whenever you hear lion, lioness, or cub, you're talking about Leo. Virgo is the woman holding the wheat stalk. So remember before when we were saying that you plant in Taurus, right? Well, the virgins would go out to cultivate the wheat in Virgo in order to make the bread for the year during the harvest season. So whenever you hear virgin, wheat, grain, seed, barley, corn, feel free to look this up, guys. All of these are grainy things that in the northern hemisphere, which is where all these ancient holy texts were written, in the northern hemisphere, these were all cultivated during Virgo thousands of years ago. Okay? So, Libra is the justice. It's the scales, it's the balance, it's the just one. The reason it's the justice is because it's going to judge God's son as it passes over, or technically passes under, the fall equinox and begins its descent into winter, into cold, into death. Now, the Jews always celebrate the new year around the fall equinox. I'll give you an example. Last year, the Jewish New Year was September 15th, which is in Virgo. Now, 8 days, if you know anything about Judaism, 8 days after what's known as Rosh Hashanah, the new year, there's a day called Yom Kippur, which is the day of atonement or judgment. Well, count 8 days from September 15th. That's September 23rd. That's the first day of Um, Libra, the justice, the judge, the scales. Of course, the day of judgment has to be during the scales, the judgment. Anyway, so Libra is also when you plant the grapes. In Taurus, you can cultivate the wine here. Ask any Italian when's wine season. Go to any vineyard. You know, that's the thing. A lot of girls go to vineyards in the spring, bachelorette parties or just to go with friends. It's stupid because when you go in the spring, everything is bare. Go during Libra, everything is full. You can walk up and down and pick the grapes. They're just ready to go. So it's law related things, all wine related things, and it's also olive season. That's when you press the make the oil. So all law related things like law. Let me see, what did I have written here? Hold on. Law, judge, justice, the just one, divorce, marriage, court. That's all law related things. Wine, vineyard, wine press. That's wine. Olive oil or olive oil. So all that is Libra. Now, Scorpio is the scorpion, and he is the betrayer. When a scorpion attacks you, when it stings you, it leaves an imprint in your skin that looks exactly like a pair of lips. And that's where the mafia gets the kiss of death from. And it's also why Jesus was betrayed by Judas with the kiss. So the sun is, remember, judged in Libra, and then it's going to be betrayed in Scorpio. Finally, in Sagittarius, this is the man with the bow and arrow on the horse that's going to inflict further punishment on the sun. This is where the sun dies. Why? Because on December 21st, the last day of Sagittarius, it's the winter solstice. It's the beginning of winter. The sun can't rise anymore. It's dead, remember? And then it walks sideways for 3 days. So whenever you hear horse, bow and arrow, spear, or horseman, that's Sagittarius. And finally, you have Capricorn. Now look at the zodiac wheel that I'm sharing here right now, guys. Let me just see here. Yeah. Look at the zodiac wheel that I'm sharing here right now. Capricorn's all the way at the bottom. Okay. Now imagine putting a little sun at the very bottom, and it's going to rise a degree on December 25th. That's Capricorn. Then on the 26th. So walk it to the left alongside the zodiac wall, a degree a day on its way to its height in Cancer. It starts to climb up the great mountain, as the zodiac is known. And so why is it a goat? Because the goats climb the mountain. The goats always climb the mountain better than any animal out there, if you've ever seen any of them. So that's the story of the 12. And those are the signs, and those are the key words that all connect to it. Now, I'm not expecting you to remember the key words. I'm only expecting you to be like, I remember him saying that. That's all I need from you, if this is new to you, okay? So let's start with Revelation, and let's see if we can demystify it. The first living creature was like a lion. The second was like an ox. The third had a face like a man. The fourth was like a flying eagle. The first living creature was like a lion. That's Leo. The second was like an ox. That's Taurus. The third had a face like a man. Who's the man? Aquarius. The fourth was like a flying eagle. In astrology, the Scorpio scorpion is the belly crawling creature. It's the lowest form of life on Earth. Think about this. They talk about it slithers on its belly. They talk about this in the book of, in the Garden of Eden. What is the first thing God does to the serpent after the deception? The first thing, he takes his legs away and makes him crawl on his belly, right? In Mexico, during Santo de la Muerte, men dress up in suits, get on their hands and knees and their bellies, and they crawl to church. That's what it's symbolizing. Now, the belly crawling creature is the lowest form of life on Earth. However, the eagle, or the ascendant to Scorpio, is the highest flying form of life on Earth. So the eagle becomes Scorpio. The Scorpio becomes the eagle. So you have Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio. These are the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac. What are the fixed signs? Well, if you look here, Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio, those are the 4 fixed signs. Okay, those are known as fixed signs. In astrology, you have 12 signs. You have 4 seasons, and you have 3 signs in each season. The first sign in the season is known as the cardinal sign, which is why there's cardinals in church. Now, if I were to take one of these 12 zodiac signs and break them down into 3 10-day segments, which you can do, they're called deacons. That's why you have deacons and cardinals in church. The fixed sign is the second sign because it's in the middle of the season. Taurus is in the middle of spring. Hold on. Leo is in the middle of summer. Taurus is in the middle of spring. Aquarius is in the middle of winter. And the Scorpio or the eagle is in the middle of the fall. Now, the other thing you need to know is that Leo and Aquarius are what's known as opposing signs. Taurus and Scorpio are opposing signs. You look at the zodiac wheel here, look at the top where it says Cancer. The patterns you're going to see in these ancient holy texts is it's going to be your connecting sign or your opposing sign. So look at Cancer on the top, guys. The connecting signs would be Leo and Gemini. But the opposing sign of Cancer would be Capricorn. So let's read this one more time. Revelation 4:7, because people think there's literally going to be a monster that looks like this. The first living creature was like a lion. The second was like an ox. The third had a face like a man. The fourth was like a flying eagle. So is this going to really happen, or is it just going to show this pattern? It's going to make an X through the zodiac, which is more realistic, guys, which sounds like something that humans would do. Now, if we go to Revelation 5:5, then one of the elders said to me, "Do not weep. See, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has triumphed. He is able to open the scroll and its 7 seals." Well, who's the Lion of Judah? That's Jesus, the Lion of Judah, the Lion of Judah. Let's go back to the zodiac wheel real quick. There's names for Jesus, okay? If you look at Aquarius, he's known as the Son of Man because that's the sign of the man. Next to the left is Pisces, the fish. He's the fisher of men, and he feeds the masses with 2 fish. Aries is the ram. He is the Lamb of God or the Good Shepherd. In Cancer, remember how you have the beetle? St. Augustine called Jesus the good beetle. Leo, the lion, he is the Lion of Judah. Virgo, the virgin with the wheat stalk, he is the bread of life, and he is known as born of a virgin. Libra is the justice. He's known as the just one. Then he's betrayed in Scorpio. He dies in Sagittarius, and he comes back to life in Capricorn. So, I watched as the Lamb opened the first of the 7 seals. Then I heard one of the 4 living creatures, the 4 living creatures that we just went over, by the way, say in a voice like thunder, "Come." And it's interesting to say the voice like thunder, too. In Hebrew, the word for thunder translates to voices. So it's interesting that they mentioned it like that. Now, why does the Lamb have to open the first seal? The Lamb has to open the first seal because Aries is the beginning of the year. That's where everything starts. I looked there, and before me was a white horse. Its rider held a bow. Guys, who's the horse with the bow? Sagittarius, right? They're telling you it right here. Then I heard what sounded like a voice among the 4 living creatures, saying 2 pounds of wheat for a day's wages, and 6 pounds of barley for a day's wages, and do not damage the oil and the wine. You remember hearing these words, right? Well, guess what? The wheat and the barley is Virgo, and the oil and the wine is Libra. Those are connecting signs on the zodiac. Okay? I watched as he opened the 6th seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red, and the stars in the sky fell to earth, as figs drop from a fig tree when shaken from a strong wind. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The moon turned blood red. Figs dropped from a fig tree. The goat is Capricorn, and it's black because Saturn is the ruling planet of Capricorn, which is known as the black planet or the black cube, if many of you know. The Jews wear a black cube on their head, and the Muslims worship a black cube. They walk around it at the Kaaba. It's Saturn worship. The moon turned blood red. Directly across from Capricorn's cross sign or opposing sign is Cancer, who is ruled by the moon. Revelation 7:4. Then I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000 from all the tribes of Israel. There are 7 chakras, guys. The root has 4 petals, the sacral has 6, the solar plexus has 10, the heart has 12, and the throat has 16, which equals 48. The third eye chakra is represented by 96 and only has 2 petals because it's 2 times as powerful as the lower chakras. 48 times 2 is 96. The crown chakra is 1,000 times more powerful than the lower 6 chakras. When you add the lower 6, you get 96 plus 48 is 144, and times that by your 1,000, the crown chakra, and you get your 144,000. What it's trying to tell you is that when you've activated all your chakras, that's when you get to go see God. It's not a limited amount of human souls that get to go to heaven, as the Jehovah's Witnesses would let you believe. This is ancient science, guys. It's not New Age. New Age doesn't exist. All this stuff predates religion, right? Astrology, tarot, astrotheology, all this kind of symbolism, yoga, meditation. This is all before even the concept of Satan existed. Okay? So it can't be New Age. Revelation 9:3. And out of the smoke, locusts came down on the earth and were given power like that of scorpions on the earth. So we know Scorpio is scorpion. But what is the power of the scorpion? What does it do? It betrays. Well, how does the locust betray? Well, if you read Leviticus 11, you'll find out that locusts are a food source. The other thing you'll find out is it's a food source, so that's good, right? But in a bunch, it's a pestilence, it's a plague, it's a betrayal. So it's the idea of too much of something is no good. Revelation 9:7. The locusts looked like horses preparing for battle. On their heads they wore something like crowns of gold, and their faces resembled human faces. Their hair was like women's hair, and their teeth were like lions' teeth. They had tails with stingers like scorpions. The locusts looked like Sagittarius, the horse. They wore a crown of gold, or the sun in Sagittarius. Their faces resembled human faces. Their teeth were like the teeth of the lions, which is Leo, and they had stingers like Scorpio, the scorpion. Revelation 12. A great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on its head. Its tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to earth. Again, people think this is actually going to happen in the heavens. Pregnant woman, dragon attacking her. Let's make sense of this, though. A woman clothed with the sun is the sun clothed in Virgo. It's just a metaphor, just like they're all metaphors. So the sun is in Virgo. If the sun is in Virgo, the moon will be at her feet. So we have the zodiac, right? 12 signs, right? 12 signs of the zodiac. The moon will be at her feet. The sun, we have a 24-hour day clock, 12 zodiac signs. The sun spends 2 hours a day in each sign to make the 24. If the sun is in Virgo and you were to count that out like a clock, with midnight being a Capricorn and then you keep going, by the time you hit Virgo, that's between, it's either 4 to 6 p.m., which is when the sun is still out. So if the sun is up, is the moon not at her feet? Whereas if the moon is up, the sun is not at her feet. You got to think in terms of metaphors like this. Now another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous dragon. Its tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to earth. On the left here is the constellation Draco, and look at its tail. Its tail goes from Aries to Sagittarius, which is 4/12 of the signs or 1/3 of the stars out of the sky. My God, it's starting to make sense. Revelation 13:2. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear and a mouth like that of a lion. So what is the leopard? Well, in Gemini, there is a constellation called Camelopardalis. Camelopardalis is broken down into 2 words. Camelos for camel, and pardalis, which means leopard. the camel leopard. Camelopardalis is what they initially called the giraffe because they looked at this tall, weird looking animal with spots and they were like, that's a camel leopard. I don't know what else to call it. And that's basically how it got stuck that way. So that's in Gemini. The bear is Ursa Major, the Great Bear. You guys have heard of that constellation. That's in Cancer. Gemini and Cancer are connecting signs. Now, a mouth like that of a lion. Well, the lion is Leo. Well, guess what now? You have Gemini, Cancer, and Leo. That is 3 signs in a row. I hope this is starting to make sense to you guys because I could do this for any ancient holy text you give me. Then I saw a second beast coming out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, Aries, but it spoke like a dragon. Draco the dragon. That's in Aries too. So this one's talking about Aries. Revelation 18:13. Cargoes of cinnamon and spice, of incense, myrrh, and frankincense. Incidentally, by the way, frankincense and myrrh are olive plants. So remember that for Libra, by the way. Of wine and olive oil, of fine flour and wheat, cattle and sheep, horses and carriages, and human beings sold as slaves. Well, let's go over this then. Frankincense and myrrh are olive plants, so that's Libra. Wine and olive oil, that's Libra. The flour and the wheat, that's Virgo, the lady with the wheat stalk, where you harvest the grains. The cattle is Taurus. The sheep is Aries. Aries and Taurus are connecting signs. The horse is Sagittarius. Now, I always read this quote to you guys, and I'm going to read it to all the new people now too. My point, once again, is not that those ancient people told literal stories, and we are now smart enough to take them symbolically, but that they told them symbolically, and we are now dumb enough to take them literally. So I don't usually start explaining things or sharing people with revelation, to be honest with you. I don't start with revelation because it's kind of hard to just jump into, but I wanted you guys to see how this works because the video that I sent Ariel is a compendium that explains from the beginning that we discovered this all the way through all the ancient holy texts. So let me just go back and see some of these comments. Christy is here. Christy, I'm going to have you come on in a minute. Sue is here. Sue, I haven't seen you in quite some time. Sharon says good morning. Fountains of living water. If these days not be shortened, no flesh would be saved. Solar Flare is here. Jamie is here. Jamie. September 2023 was the massacre of the festival that started the Hamas war. My point is, guys, what I'm trying to teach with all this stuff is that all these ancient holy texts are built and made this way. They're all made this exact same way. And what I'd like you guys to take out of this is to understand is that by exposing the truth about what all these ancient holy texts are as astrology books and getting that out to the masses and to the public, that is how we're able to stop the Jewish-Christian war, the Jewish-Muslim war, the Christian-Muslim war. Because as long as people are taking these books literally and not understanding the true nature and what they're trying to tell you, we're going to have problems. Darina says, I am born in Libra. Fantastic. The first rider of the 4 horsemen, man with a bow. Sagittarius. 4 corners of the earth. Solar Flare. I love this. Solar Flare. I love that icon, man. For people who are new, that icon is going to be how I'm going to look in about 15 years or so, minus the cigar. But those eyebrows are on fleek, though. You're welcome. A cross, standing for truth. The solstices and the equinox form the cross of God's Son that he carries to his death in Sagittarius. The Son of Man coming on the clouds with power and great glory. Age of Aquarius. Yeah. What is Jesus? What is okay. So standing for truth. When we're talking about Jesus, right? What did the disciples say? They say, "Where can we find you for the Passover, for the next thing?" What does Jesus tell them? Go into town. Once you're in town, you'll find a man with a water pitcher. Follow him to his house. Well, what is the house of the man with the water pitcher? That's Aquarius. He's telling them that the age of Pisces is coming to an end, and you'll have to find him in the age of Aquarius. The doctor is here. Kim is here. The Orsini family name comes from Ursus, bear. I love that. Standing truth. I'm so happy that you're in this chat, man, because I really appreciate. What do you think of my breakdown of Revelation, though? Does this make a little bit more logical sense than having to believe it on complete faith? Jennifer. Thank you, Micah. You're welcome. What is your view that the Sphinx originally had a lion's head, and was it the age of Leo? It was. So, one sec, guys. Hold on. The Sphinx had a lion's head, and I'm going to tell you how you know this. Because the Sphinx in the back is very smooth, which it shouldn't be. When we discovered the Sphinx, we only saw its head sticking out of the sand. It had been excavated. So you'd think that from thousands of years of sand just blasting on it, it would have been weathered, right? But it wasn't. It was smooth. Why is that? Well, because the last time it rained or flooded in that area was 12,000 years ago, as the dry ice melted and water flooded for thousands of years. But here's the thing: if you look at the constellation, if you look at the Sphinx, it is facing the constellation Leo 12,000 years ago. It's all astrology, guys. It's all astrology, and it all ties together. I promise you. It's another layer, yes. Guys, so hold on. Let me just see what else we got here. How do you accommodate for the fact that there are 13 astrological signs versus the historically taught 12 signs astrology? Okay, so this thing that I have right here, okay, this is a 12 sign zodiac. This is tropical astrology. You have two different types of astrology. You have tropical and you have sidereal. Tropical does not include the 13th sign. Tropical is 12 signs made up of 30 degrees to make the 360 pi. The 13th sign has to do, first of all, the 13th sign isn't on the ecliptic. We don't pass it. We don't see it. It doesn't come up there. And it's not even a big sign either. 12 signs of 30 each, but that's not taken into account for the size of the constellations. It's not. The Vedic or the sidereal astrology does. That is real size of constellations. So, for example, Virgo is huge. Virgo is about a month and a half long. Scorpio is like 6 days. And Ophiuchus, which sits right here. This is Scorpio. This is Sagittarius. Ophiuchus is right here. Okay? Ophiuchus is right here in the middle between the two of them. But John, put it to you this way, brother. Like, imagine me and you are at a party, right? I say this all the time. Imagine me and you are at a party and like we leave because we're going to go to like Waffle House or something, right? And we're taking two separate cars, but we don't know the area. So we use our GPSs. Yours might take you a different direction than mine will, but we'll end up at the same place. That's what these two sciences are. Now, how it works in the Bible is it's mostly tropical, but if they pinch in a little bit of Ophiuchus from time to time. And if you go to I'm going to show you guys all my work, where it is and where you could find it. I think originally the Sphinx had the head of Anubis because its position seems to align with Sirius, on reference to the belt of Orion. Standing with truth, the pyramids in Giza, those three pyramids align with Orion. By the way, Anubis, by the way, is why dog backwards is God. It goes back to Anubis, which is why we have dogma in church. Sirius is the dog star. Canis Major. It is.
Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky.
Fucking Siri, man. Tony's here. Love, bro, astrology is up there, but there's more. You agree? We need all the facts. I'm going to start teaching everything, guys. I agree. Astrology and symbolism is all through the Bible. It's symbolic. Daniel 12:1, Revelation 12:7 talk about Michael and the war in heaven. Ophiuchus is the man wrestling the serpent. So that's a little misconception, standing for truth, by the way. Ophiuchus is the serpent bearer. It's not the serpent. Ophiuchus is the man holding a basket and the serpent is in it. Now, the serpent in it is facing the constellation Sagittarius, the horse. So when they say in the Bible that the serpent or the snake will bite the heel of the horse, well, it's facing Sagittarius, and the rider will fall off. They're talking about, it's poetry about those two signs. Ophiuchus, the snake, is actually serpens, S-E-R-P-E-N-S. It's not serpent. I mean, it's serpens, S-E-R-P-E-N-S. It's not actually Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus is the whole thing. Serpens is just the snake. What about Enki and Enlil? Well, I do have a friend that talks about Enki and Enlil a lot. I don't get into that a lot. Actually, that's not true. If you go, let me put this in the chat, guys, okay? So for starters, what I just did in the chat, debunkmywork.com, that's my website. I have 9 Enki tablets that I broken down with astrotheology. If you go to my website, I have all my social media. I have my YouTube channel. I have just like a couple merch things. I have like a hat, a hoodie, and a t-shirt. That's it. I have all the breakdowns. My website, debunkmywork.com, has a way to contact me at the bottom of the page. You could fill out something to reach out to me and contact me. But yes, I have all my work on this website. It's all there. And I have my Rumble links in case this YouTube ever gets taken down. Sirius is at the heel of Orion. Oh, it's always shown as the snake wrapped around the man. I guess I misunderstood. And Serpens is at Virgo's feet. It is. But Serpens is a couple of zodiac signs standing for truth. But its face is facing Sagittarius, which is why they say the snake will bite the heel of the horse and the rider will fall off. Thanks, Mike. You're welcome, the gooch. Mike, I'm not sure if you've connected it, but I'm Casey from Facebook. Casey? I'm not connecting it. I'm sorry. So I love that you guys are all here. I love that you guys are all here. There's a lot of new people here. If we have any questions, you guys could start asking, or if you guys are just here for the first time, just learning, that's fine. But Christy, hold on. Hold on 1 second. Christy wants to come on and share a story with you guys. And I told her she could today. I just wasn't expecting that Ariel was going to put me on blast, which is fantastic. Like, he just did me the greatest favor. I can't even repay him for it. Christy, on your post on Facebook, I just put the link to join StreamYard. If you could just go there real quick. Oh, there she is, girl. Christy, I just posted it on your Facebook. Why do the Jews and Christian worship the arch, which is one of the many around the world? And is it true there's a nuclear reactor type thing? Lucy is my girl, by the way. Thank you for being here. I love you. And what do you mean by worship the arch? Which arch are you talking about? I'm trying to think because the only arch I could think about is St. Louis. There's one in the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. Which arch are you talking about? I am here because of Ariel. Well, I hope that you're not disappointed. And I hope you go to my website, debunkmywork.com, and I hope you all sign up for my YouTube. I also have a book series, guys, where it's 1984 mixed with Da Vinci Code for the last 12 years. It's just a whole bunch of truth bombs in it. It's called Into the Rabbit Hole series. And it's on my website, too, if you guys are interested in getting book one. I'm going to start. I want to talk about it in a couple of weeks. I've been pushing it for about a week. Lynn says, I'm here because of Ariel. Well, I hope that you're learning stuff. There's a physical model of Earth, the globe, in an esoteric model where it's flat. Does that mean the Earth is flat and both around the same? I don't get into flat Earth. To be honest with you, I don't care about the shape of the thing. I'm more interested in the ice wall than I am of the shape of the Earth, to be honest with you. Have to go. Peace, folks. The arch is the omega, correct? Me too, family vibes. Guys, let me put the website in there again. Because that video that I sent Ariel, if you go to my website, is the first video on my website. So if you want to go through there and share this with everybody, guys. I just got done with a big marketing thing. Just share. But Christy's here, so hey girl.
Hey.
Good to see you.
You as well.
Okay, so you wanted to share your story, so I'm going to let you just talk.
So yeah, I don't know who Ariel is, but I guess I'll have to go check that out and see what the hell's
He's
going
great.
on.
He's a top 3 account on Twitter.
Nice. Okay, I'll have to check him out. But yeah, so this is perfect timing to everything that just happened with your marketing event and everything. I just want to kind of just share with everybody, my kind of how I stumbled across you. I found you actually, it was just like through an algorithm, I think on Twitter, or no, it was like Corey Good. I do not like Corey Good. I'm sorry, but I don't. And he reposted your work. And so I reached out. Did I reach out to you? No, you reached out to me. I went ahead and I was watching your video and I had asked you a question and then you reached out to me and I didn't watch it for like a really long time because I was like really caught up in the church at that time. I stopped researching like basically anything esoteric because I felt like I was doing wrong, right? Like the Bible says you're not supposed to do astrology and you're not supposed to do tarot cards because these new age things, right? So I didn't touch it for like almost a year. And then finally one day I was cleaning out my Twitter inbox and I stumbled across it and watched the video and it totally changed everything. Like I was falling hard into trying to be something that I wasn't, right? Like this Christian person who believed all these things, like, I mean, I was trying to find the tent of appointment. You had said this yesterday. You were like, these people who are literally like out here, like, I didn't sacrifice the bull because I couldn't find the tent. If I found the tent, I probably would have sacrificed the bull. Like, I'm not lying. Like, I was that deep in. And your work showed me all the divine connections through all these ancient texts. And for me, that was all the proof that I needed. Like, I mean, how far back do 6,000 years? Like, you did every book and every different, religion or base or culture or civilization that's ever been, brought up. So it was the truth. And then I started having all these, divine connections just in my life in general. And I'm a happy person now. I can be myself. Like I quit doing yoga. I'm a freaking yoga teacher. I quit doing like the thing that I love. Like, you've studied this for 12 years and you're amazing and you've found so many great things. And for me, that's yoga, that's my little connection. And I lost that. I lost myself. And I'm just so grateful for you and your work and how you share it. And it's time. It's the age of Aquarius. Let's wake everybody up. Let's screw this shit.
That's the idea. So, like, I've never been in the religious sort of, I always rejected it since I was 9 years old. So I've never been there, but I've never been into it. But is it just like a constant feeling that you're not good enough?
Yeah, I mean, especially as a woman, I feel like in Christianity, right? Like, I mean, I guess all religions, all the Abrahamic ones, they're you're basically just there for the man, right? Like that's if you take this text literally, that is all we are good for, is to be there so your man can be better and like reign over you, right? Like that's the whole goal. And that was like really hard to swallow, especially as like somebody who's, you know who I am. I'm spunky, I'm loud, like, I love the 50s, but if I was born in the 50s, I probably would have been hanged in the street. Like, let's just be real. So it was really hard. I felt muted, like for sure, definitely muted in myself. And there was no joy. It was all about rules and, what we had to do, right? Because I was worried. I have children. I had to save everybody, right? For the sake of saving everything.
Mm-hmm. So
It's not like that now.
how
I'm pretty sure I would have been divorced if I wouldn't have met you. Like straight up.
So how did your, give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Hold on. What did your kids think about all this stuff when you're like pushing it on them?
They tried to appease me, but everybody just kind of avoided me because there was always something, right? And like I was so, not to be punny, but I was so hell bent on making sure that we did this and that we were saved. I'm a Pisces. I'm a very spiritual person. Spirituality means more to me than anything in this world, like understanding and being connected with that part of myself. And so for me, this was life or death, right? If this is how it was, if we were going to burn, I had to make sure my people didn't burn, right? Like
We got
that
a comment from Sharon. That's how churches hurt people, by taking things too literal and only seeing things one way.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sure when you left, the church started trashing you.
Oh, probably. I don't go. Well, I mean, I would argue too. Like I said, I got a big mouth, so like I would come at the pastor and be like, "Hey, I have a question for you. Like, do you know what that tree symbolizes?" Like, and so I kind of stood out anyway. They were probably glad to be done with my questions. I mean, I was in Bible study and everything, like the whole nine, and I asked so many questions.
Right. So it's freeing, this work, when you realize that these texts were not meant to be taken literally. You can actually see the poetry in them.
Mm-hmm. And isn't that what spirituality is? It's freedom, right? Liberation from that ego, that the whole, I'm looking for the word, that trap that we're in, we're being led by all the crap, not just religion, but just all the crap in general, right? That's brainwashing.
We got another comment here, which I like. But the flip side of the narrow view is so many things are also interpreted differently across denominations or even within the same church.
Mm-hmm.
There's exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So
I love your work for that. Like that was the first time, like I said, that because I had read like, the Emerald Tablets and, all these different other things, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and the Vedic text, obviously. And it was so refreshing to see that I wasn't like in my own head about having these connections. Like, wait, this sounds like this, and this kind of mirrors this. And well, this is this in this one, but it's the same over here. Your work beautifully describes the code and how they do that and how they keep it, within the same, it's synchronotic. That's what it is.
Beautiful. I love hearing that, and I love that you're doing so much better. And you were telling me that you told me a while back that Leviticus, until I actually grabbed your Bible and started highlighting it, and you have it still. So I started highlighting it, and you were like, Leviticus almost. Tell me what happened with Leviticus.
It was because that's the rules, right? Like I didn't know I had to do everything. I was so just so wholeheartedly into this, right? Like God and being good for God and doing everything that, the Christian said was good for God. And I wanted to follow every rule. And I'm Virgo rising. So when I say I got to follow the rules, we're going to follow the rules. And I literally started seeking this place out. Like, how do I do this? We even like switched religions. We started off as like a Christian, and then we went more towards the 7-day Adventist because of, worshiping Saturday, and, that's Saturn, but I'll
Mhm,
get into
mhm.
all that, right? But I literally was trying to find and take all these things literally because I figured that's how they were telling us to take it, right? Like I just didn't want to do wrong.
Look at this. Look at this. Just watched a video by Alabar Jones about the Pentecostal and how they get the most refined loosh from people when they experience joy. Dorina, I think you're talking about in church when people start talking in tongues, or the pastor comes up and he starts touching you, and you're like, you know, and all that kind of crap. I could agree with that, absolutely. It's not just negative that comes from, and the same thing happens at concerts, absolutely. Like you heard the
Mhm.
story about like all those kids that like don't have memories of Taylor Swift concerts.
That's nuts.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same thing. Yeah, I agree with that. So, girl, thanks for coming on. And
Absolutely.
everybody that's listening, I'll put it one more time. And I'll put it on Twitter too, or X. Debunkmywork.com. All start watching the videos. You'll see the same patterns in any ancient holy text. I've done 70 or 80 of them. They're on my website, guys. Please check it out. I'll talk to you guys soon. Chrissy, thank you for coming on, girl.
Bye.